Well, hello out there, planet Earth, and happy Friday. Hope everyone had an awesome Thanksgiving, spent time with the families. Hopefully, you didn't eat as much as I did. It's Friday, and it's always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. ICYMI, or in case you missed it, SMB stands for Small and Medium-Sized Business. For the last 20 years, I've been a consultant for SMBs, a voice and a sounding board for business leaders, advocating on their behalf, their employees too. I believe very strongly, everyone, in sharing stories, providing perspective, and creating connection. So every single Friday, you could find me here on talkradio.nyc doing just that, lending what's left of my mind and my voice to this radio show, where I interview SMB leaders as well as folks who steer them in the right direction, their trusted advisors. One thing that I've noticed over the years is that some of the best thought leadership for SMBs, it actually happens on Friday, just about the time we feel that freedom of the weekend coming. However, we're also anxious to start the weekend. These crucial pearls of wisdom, they're often overlooked, they're forgotten, they're eased aside in favor of our fun activities and our freedom from the office. Let's face it, that's what happens. So here on the show, we take advantage of that weekend freedom and clarity, and we discuss some popular topics that are on the minds of business leaders as well as their advisors. They're all thinking about something. They're thinking about plenty these days, trust me. Once again, the name of the show, not just a play on words. My last name means free in German, so a little deeper meaning, people. I'm not just a goofball with shades on. I went out to Chicago for Thanksgiving with all my cousins. Absolute blast. We arranged it years ago when we got married, all of us, that every other year we would have a reunion style blowout Thanksgiving. So being in Chicago this year, I was extra excited because anytime I can integrate deep dish pizza into the Thanksgiving repertoire alongside of the turkey, totally into that. Though we did communally agree that 2025's gathering will be at an all-inclusive somewhere, so nobody has to host and have their house destroyed, which totally makes sense at this point. I get it. We've made it to December, people. Many rude awakenings of sub-30-degree temperatures in the Northeast here in the U.S. this past week. Starting to see less and less people walking around outside in favor of sitting by the heat and the fire. I love this time of year, not just for the holidays and for the skiing that I'm ultimately absolutely going to do, but also for the time to reflect on 2023 and finish the New Year strategic planning for 2024. I have a lot that I'm excited to do, especially as it relates to the show. There's some cool things I'm going to be bringing to you guys in 2024. So today, I thought we would chat a little bit about creativity from everywhere and anyone. I've always had the sentiment that everybody has a story to tell. A lot of people have talked about doing a radio show, including myself, until I actually bit the bullet during the pandemic and did it. A lot of people talk about writing a book, but very often it ends up just being talk. And the stories a lot of times don't get told. People come, people go, they pass away, and a lot of times these stories go with them. Well, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that good story can come from anywhere since everybody has a story to tell. So the idea that creativity can come from anywhere or anyone is very, very kind of close to my heart. And we're going to get into that deep with our special guest today. But as I tell you guys every week, talk is cheap. We're on talkradio.nyc. We don't want this to just be talk. The goal here, everyone, is let's use the insight on the business landscape and create some more impact on Monday morning. That's it. Far too often, the businesses I deal with, they're focused on some type of product that's going to solve their problems. The shiny new mousetrap, the magic wand, the new app, the new tech. One consistent thing that I see out there for many years now, products change every single day. The stuff I bought this Black Friday, which I spent a ton of money on unexpectedly, it's very different than the stuff I bought 10 years ago during Black Friday, I promise you. Whether you're talking about your personal or business life, products change every day. You have to surround yourself with the right people first and focus on some type of tangible process that's going to help you achieve your goal. That's it. You do that, the right products will be there. They'll present themselves when they're needed. Everything begins and ends with the people. So in the spirit of surrounding yourself with the right people, I'm very excited for this show. We pulled something fun together in the nick of time for you guys right before everything got started. Our special guest today is Justin Colavita, Strategy and Growth Director at Mint Copenhagen. Yeah, that's right, everybody. We're going international today. Justin's coming to us from over the pond. So, and if the face and name sound familiar, that's because Justin is the younger brother of my good buddy, Johnny Colavita, aka Johnny Tsunami. who is the only one to have had 3 special guest appearances here on the show. But back to Justin, because we know enough about Johnny already. We've talked to him a bunch of times. So, as a native of New Jersey, Justin relocated to Stockholm, Sweden 5 years ago in pursuit of a romantic interest. Oh, that's such a nice thing to hear in some of these bios that I read instead of just a resume of school and degrees and whatnot. With over a decade of experience in the advertising industry, Justin's career has spanned media agencies, creative agencies, and client-side roles. His ad career begun in NYC, working at IPG Media Brands, and now currently holds a part ownership stake in Mint Copenhagen, which is a Nordic advertising agency. When not immersed in the world of advertising, Justin enjoys indulging in his passion for video games. And fortunately, he does love his family very much, so he does come back to the States here and there. I've had the pleasure of having some cocktails and some terrible golf with Justin. He's seen me play, so he understands the pain I go through on the normal. But he is the man to talk to as it relates to the world of marketing and advertising, the studio and agency side, whichever one you need as it relates to being a creative. The world of creatives is what Justin deals with. We're going to talk a little bit about my normal questions that I ask everybody. I got a few other ones for Justin here today because I didn't have time to make any of my goofy pictures that I make when I ask my questions. But joining us today from across the pond in sunny Scandinavia, the gentleman who's going to give me a much needed tour of Sweden when I get there at some point. Justin, welcome to Always Friday, brother. Thanks for making the virtual trip.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man. We pulled that together nicely. I like it.
Listen, for last minute things, I'll show up. I'm more of a last minute procrastinator anyway. So
yeah, me too. I work really well under pressure, which is a good thing. But all the stress that leads up to being for execution for being a procrastinator is really bad. But I was never regarded, Justin, as a creative. No. Until I started doing this show on a weekly basis. Now, obviously, people will be like, "Oh, how creative, whatever." So now things are a little bit different. But like I said, I've always believed that everyone has a story to tell, and I love the very notion that great ideas can come from everywhere and anyone. A lot of times, I'm a big networker, so when you say someone, everyone, anyone, a lot of times it leads to no one because you're not being very specific. But I do believe the idea that everyone's got a story to tell, and we should listen. Let's talk to the audience a little bit about your story, very briefly, before we get into the meat of the show. Tell the audience about your journey. How'd you get where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, right when I worked for my many years in New York, IPG has many agencies. I went across all of them. I followed Applebee's. Applebee's traveled across the agencies. I went with Applebee's. One night out, I met a Swedish girl, and I took a work visa chance, and I switched to the creative agency side. A place called Perfect Fools.
Beautiful, love it.
Yeah, it was a really fun place with great people. And while over there, I had some friends who worked at a video game company called Star Stable, which was a game for kids, a horse game for girls. I loved video games. I always, damn, you are prepared. Look at this guy. And
don't worry about me. Don't worry about
it. And I really enjoyed it there, and I loved being closer to video games. I did worked on a lot of the advertising over there. I'm a big brand person. So I made sure my role adjusted into a brand position and things like that. And then one of the agencies we worked with, I really enjoyed the guy who owned it and run it. He was a mentor, I would say. And I spoke to him one day and I was like, dude, I really want to work with you. And he was like, you read my mind. And so that's where, that's the company, Mint Copenhagen. And that's where I am in now. And I, became being a part owner of the company.
So congratulations. Awesome story. Love it. Since you really made an effort to go more to the branding side, I have to put this sentiment out there, and I've mentioned it a whole bunch of times on my show. It came from one of my guests that I interviewed, Michael Leibowitz out in California, Magnetic Mind Studio. Mm-hmm. He said, marketing, and this is great considering your circumstances and how you ended up where you are. Marketing is asking someone out on a date. Branding is the reason they say yes.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I would say so much about marketing is really like building friendships. And I kind of think of people can forgive you too as a friend. But if you keep making the same mistakes, it's going to be harder and harder to really want to hang out with that friend again, and you're just going to think they're a compulsive liar. But if you fix your product right, and then you go back into market, slowly build the brand, start building the trust again. But yeah, I definitely agree with that sentiment, and I think brand marketing is used to be the king of kings. Everyone believed in it, and now it's it's an uphill battle against performance-based marketing. So that's for sure.
One thing kind of reigns consistent around all of the discussion that we're going to have is that knowing the audience is really important. And that's a people skill, right? So I say at the beginning of every show, like the products, they're going to present themselves when they're needed. You got to have the right people. You got to have the right process. So, just like you're started in this agency, right? And you have somebody around you that wanted to work with you. You wanted to work with them. Like, great. Like that's where everything starts. Like we're all people first. But it's staggering to me after doing, this show for over 3 years now and a career in sales and strategy and business development for 20 years. How people are so disconnected sometimes from knowing who they're talking to and how other people hear their information.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's so much about doing research too and understanding like the way you're speaking. And the nice thing with performance marketing, the tech behind it, it makes it a little easier to try to find the right person, but you need to have the right message.
But I love the way you just said that because, you said the tech behind it. And there, don't get me wrong. I love tech and I love products and I love keeping, in tune with what's new and exciting out there. But when I see the businesses that I deal with and the leaders that I deal with and referral partners and advisors and everything, very often they're so focused on some type of product they think is going to fix everything. And I feel like I can count on one hand the amount of times I've actually seen that work with businesses. And, look, I'm into a happy accident just like the next person, especially if you come out on the positive winning side of it. But I'd rather plan on the success, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And I think we're basically born into this world now of like instant gratification, and marketers are impacted by it. They don't even realize it. We're looking for instant gratification in our marketing campaigns, all this last click stuff, but we don't think about why the hell all the stuff they went through before they even clicked on the thing. So all these stories of talking about, if I was Google and I'm selling you that 2 seconds, or Meta telling you that 2 seconds is a view and I'm selling that to you, of course I want you to make your video and make it as short as possible. And that's the thing because then you get views up higher and higher. But when Google and Meta come out with a commercial, I don't think it's 2 seconds, man. It's more like a minute or a minute and a half or 3 minutes. It's a big branding story thing. So why are the guys that are selling us this 2-second impression thing, when they start talking, it's much bigger and they're telling more of a story? I think that's what I want people to open their eyes to.
Absolutely. And basic people skills even, right? Like what's the average attention span for anybody trying to tell a story like that or getting their resume in front of a recruiter? 6 seconds. That's the average attention span. So you might get a little bit more with a snappy video and all that, but be conscious of how people are taking in information these days. I'm definitely used to folks looking for instant gratification, especially when I'm dealing with business owners and advisors to them, brokers, financial advisors, all that. A lot of folks like that are very in tune with instant gratification, but a lot of times to realize the great success and the feelings you ultimately want to have, you got to have the right people, you got to have the right process. The products are going to change a million times along the way.
Yeah, definitely.
We got to take a quick break, but we will be right back with Justin Colavita. I'm ready to say Johnny Colavita. It's going to happen at some point. We'll be right back with Justin Colavita. Mark, what do you call yourself? Strategic and Growth Director? Is that the right way of saying it?
You can call me whatever you want.
You can call me Susan. You can call me Susan. It makes you happy.
Growth and strategy. We'll leave it at that.
Growth and strategy. That's the name of Justin's game. The company's Mint Copenhagen. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Friday. It's always Friday, and it's me, Stephen Fry, your one, your only SMB guy. We are chatting with Justin Colavita. He is Strategy and Growth Director at Mint Copenhagen, co-founder as well, marketing, branding, studio work, agency work. He's just a guru, man. You got a message to get out, you got to talk to this guy. Justin, before we dive into the method behind your madness, and rest assured we are going to talk about that a great deal, I do like to sit out by the fire pit real quick and just give a quick perspective for everybody on what we're going to talk about today. And my fire pit picture got a little juiced up in Chicago with the whole family gathered around for Thanksgiving, so wanted to make sure I gave them some highlights and shout outs here today. But you know, as we were talking about at the end of the first segment, knowing the audience is crucial, right? I've said this before on the show a number of times. The first 10 years, 11 years of my professional career was all about putting the gun together and taking it apart, really getting to know the industries I was working with. And, arguably, Justin, for you, working at IPG Media Brands, like a huge organization with all kinds of places for you to go in there, that was you really kind of learning the craft and learning the rules of the road and learning the landscape, the industry, etc. But the most recent decade, 11 years of my professional career, I'm 43 years old, and I started working when I was 14, but I like to say the professional career started around 21 or so. They've been infinitely more about, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and it's what the other person hears, and it's how they engage with you. Right? Engagement is crucial. I have all kinds of marketing people reaching out to me every day about lead generation, blah, blah, blah. I have tons of leads. I have needs, and I need help with engagement, the lead engagement side of things, because I can't be everywhere at once. And when you have great partners like you and the Mint Copenhagen guys, like, you can actually engage more people more effectively, giving every side of the table everything that they want. Also, great guests for my show can come from everywhere too, not just great ideas. I studied abroad and I never made it to Scandinavia, although I really wanted to and intended to go to Copenhagen a whole bunch of times. Now I have the best excuse ever to head out there to see a friend and do some potentially fun work together. So I will be there at some point, most likely with your knucklehead.
You better be.
Most likely with your brother. But Justin, this is the method part of the show. This is the science behind what you do. The idea is to share with everybody exactly what you do, exactly how you do it, and exactly how you go to market for it. You're overseas, you're in Sweden, you live in Sweden these days. Like you're connecting with people all over the world. Lay it on us. Give us the method behind your madness.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, the first thing I'll clear up, because I don't want to look, so amazing. I'm not the co-founder of the company. I'm just the company.
You look amazing regardless, just so you know.
The company's been around for a while, but like our method, really, I mean, we are specializing. What we really kill it at is like kids brands. So we've promoted things like Lego to Pokemon, but we also work with like wholesalers and help them distribute their toys and stuff. So like when I worked at like media agency, creative agency, and I built up like the media side of things and the creative side of things, and then when I went to Star Stable, I really got into like kids marketing because and I saw the struggle there. There's no cookies, there's no data, and it shouldn't be. Toys are a really important part of the economy. Right. There will always be toys being made and things like that. I'm not saying people shouldn't make toys for kids, and kids should probably find out about a toy. But
somehow my kids do. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. I think people are going to try and reach kids with messages anyway. And at Mid Copenhagen, it's about doing it in a COPA compliant way and doing it in a good and impactful way that's entertaining too. So we really believe in the methodology of creating entertaining ads and fusing AI technology with good influencer marketing, and not in the traditional sense of relying on the influencer's reach, but the influencer's like personality or the way a commercial is shot in an influencer engaging way, and then using AI to reach kids compliantly through what we would usually call like contextual targeting.
So I saw this mention and heard this mention from you just now of COPA compliance. And working with small, medium-sized businesses as long as I have, the idea of compliance comes up a lot. Like I personally, I've had securities and insurance licenses for years as well. Like compliance is crucial. You got to do it. So, but I've never heard of COPA compliance, and I have kids. Like I feel like I would have tripped across at some point. Talk to us about what COPA compliance is.
So, I mean, there's also, I should say, we're also GDPR compliant as well. And so, I mean, the COPA compliance side, but I mean, across the globe, you have COPA and GDPR, and it's about keeping kids' data safe. So for example, at Star Stable, it was a huge thing for the brand, right? If you were coming onto the site to play, we needed to find out what age the person was that visited our site. And once we confirmed that they were under a certain age, depending on which region, we had to get rid of their information. So we wouldn't be able to know what campaigns brought in new players because it got deleted. And only things we could track were people who were claiming they were over 16 or over 18. And so now we're optimizing campaigns based on people who are outside our core demographic. And I saw that as a big problem. And so Mint at the time was actually one of the partners that helped with that solution. Yeah, great. I mean, yes, 85% of kids are using, it says, use YouTube as a daily basis for entertainment.
And you struck a nerve with me just there. Hold that thought for a second because I don't want you to lose it. So the idea of the kids lying about their age, not only have I not only have I seen that, I have a daughter who's 11, going to be 12 soon, and like she's a YouTube, TikTok obsessed fanatic. She goes to dance class 5 days a week. And, we give her access to certain things at this point, very limited and all of that. But I'm surrounded by parents that will lie on behalf of their kids. And if they do something that, I'm assuming maybe is against the COPA guidelines or regulations or whatever, and they get booted for whatever reason, the parents will go and appeal on their behalf, lying on behalf of their kids. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you teaching my children?
Yeah, exactly. And I think if you listen to the Daily, I mean, they had a whole thing where they're taking TikTok to court again. And probably they're going after Meta as well. But I think it's focused on Meta. It was focused on Meta and not TikTok, this one. And it's really about they have research internally. They know exactly how they should make the app so it doesn't affect kids, but they see that it affects the performance. They change it. I would say if your kid is under 13, do not put them on social media. I wouldn't even do it until they're 16, 17, or 18.
Yep.
But the thing is too, once you're on these platforms, if you are honest about the age and things like that, it protects them from like predatory, like targeting methods that shouldn't be used on a child. So if you go into YouTube or TikTok and you choose affinity targeting, or you're saying like, I want to reach Stephen Fry, I want to reach somebody who's into golf. As soon as you choose that type of affinity, the targeting automatically goes for people 18 and older, or depending on the region, which is good. But what we do is have a solution that we can find content that we, with high probability, believe that kids are watching, and we don't have to track them or anything. It's kind of like back to the old days, where if you needed to put you wanted a kid to hear about the new Transformers toy, it wasn't much harder than buying a TV commercial on Nickelodeon, and nobody's data is getting collected, nobody's getting tracked and stuff like that. So we're kind of bringing back the TV sense of ad buying, but onto the YouTube platform. And you saw the logo earlier. If you're watching the stream live, the video stream live, is Precise TV is a partner that we work with that helps us accomplish this.
Precise TV. So what exactly do they do as far as the distribution goes?
Yeah, so we have an exclusive deal in the Nordics and parts of the EU. And depending on if we create relationships with certain clients, Precise TV is the AI technology that we use.
Got it.
That we can reach kids compliantly online, and it's also HIPAA certified as well, so we can help medical companies take people through their journey of, like, for kids it's easier where there's core, there's something outside of it, like a little bit of context, and then you go to the culture. And with a toy, fine, like let's target the exact thing. Play-Doh, you're trying to sell Play-Doh, then let's go into slime and Play-Doh-y things and things like that. Outside of that, let's not
say we did. Half my house has been ruined already.
Yeah. But same thing with medicine. Like, we can follow them through when they first feel certain symptoms to the point where they're taking the medication, dealing with medication symptoms, and but then there's like a culture of like, I'm changing my diet now. I need to Google these types of diets that doctors are probably telling people to do, or exercises. And we can kind of follow that journey without tracking them. It's just like contextual targeting at key points. We don't need to know what medicine you're taking. We don't need to know your Google search history. And so that's how we
don't need to know every single word that you're saying all day long, whether it's private, public, or not.
Yeah. So, I mean, the cool thing is what we do is, like, because with the kids, the cookies are gone, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a cookie-free future probably, maybe at some point.
I like the way you put that. Where cookies are gone on the internet, and the cookies are gone from the cookie jar usually, because they're stealing them every time I look around.
But it's cool. Like, we survey kids 2 to 17, 10,000 of them every 6 months. So essentially we're creating our own cookie pool, but it's in a very open way. Like, hey, parent, do you have a kid? Can you take the survey with them? And we kind of collect information on them. And they opt into this. They get rewarded for taking these surveys. And the AI that we have reads the responses of that. And it has we have a deal with Google that we get a direct API connection. So every video on YouTube goes through the AI, over 1 million videos a day. This AI sadly has to sit there and watch over 1 million videos a day. I don't know. That's maybe how much your kids watch. I don't know.
Give or take about 1 million videos a day. I think so. You know, when you started talking about Precise TV, dude, there's so many cool pictures on your site so far. This was what immediately came to mind.
But I think.
Sorry, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was just saying the AI can, with high probability, I think it's like a 0.87 coefficiency or something like that, compares the survey information to the type of YouTube data that is being run through the AI. And it could kind of build its own contextual targeting method for kids based on just the survey data and nothing else.
I know that there's lots of method behind this madness, and I thank you so much for talking about it in some types of details that I feel I feel like other people, dude, I'm a nerd too, so I get that, but that other people just won't even remotely touch. It's just everything's all just kind of, 50,000-foot overview types of remarks and give me money and contracts and whatever. But we do have to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Justin Colavita, Strategy and Growth Director at Mint Copenhagen. Stay with us.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
What really drives success in business? Introducing Intangify, the show that explores the intangible assets that create value and growth. I'm Matthew Asbell, your host and an attorney focused on innovation. Join me Fridays at noon Eastern to discover how innovation, culture, and other intangibles shape thriving companies from startups to established businesses. We'll share strategies to unleash your business's true potential. Tune in live on talkradio.nyc Fridays at noon Eastern and Intangify your business today.
In a post-COVID world, you may have many unanswered questions regarding your health. Are you looking to live a healthier lifestyle? Do you have a desire to learn more about mental health and enhance your quality of life? Or do you just want to participate in self-understanding and awareness? I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each Thursday, I will tackle these questions and work to enlighten you. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will be frank about health to advocate for all of us.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with Justin Colavita, Strategy and Growth Director at Mint Copenhagen, branding, studio, agency, marketing, advertising, this whole world of codifying your message and getting it out there in a meaningful and effective way. Justin, I love the discussion so far, and I love your chats. I almost started pissing my pants while we were sitting here. He's Justin writes while we were in the commercial break, goes, "You should get some visuals up during the commercial break so people don't have to stare at our two stupid faces."
My bad.
I love it. I love it. It's a good thought. There's so much crap that I do in conjunction with doing the show anyway that I never really thought of that. Like, and I sit here and I'll make some faces and whatever in the meantime anyway. But you're probably right. Having something up here instead of our two stupid faces is probably good. But Justin, this is the madness part of the show. This is my favorite part typically, right? So the madness part of the show is the artistic observational part of what you do. And in your industry and in your world, there's a lot of it, right? But the stories you have from the field, going back to the days of IPG Media Brands and, talking about some of the video game experience that you've had in your Sweden travels and, now working with Mint Copenhagen and kind of working with all of the above in every which way that you can to really get the right solutions and the right effective, kind of approach in people's hands so they can touch it, taste it, feel it. Like, there's a lot of great stuff there, but there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that you've encountered a significant amount of madness along the way, not the least of which is moving your life from the U.S. to Sweden, which sounds like an awesomely fun idea, but there's no doubt there's been some madness that's come just from that. So lay it on us. We want to hear a little bit about the madness that's resulted from your travels. Talk to us about the stories from the field.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to start one story, in New York, I have it's a personal story. It happened at work, and I don't think it could teach you so much about how to do business. But
I'll take some type of lesson from it no matter what, bro. I promise you. Let's go.
All right. Well, I remember it was a holiday. It was a Christmas party at work, and I was standing in front of a group photo for work, and somebody comes in next to me and moves me over, and I just cross my arms in a way which you can't. Did I just unplug my mic? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, that's so strange. I just muted. Oh, I muted you. That's why my volume dropped. But I move over and I cross my arms, and maybe I could show in the camera a little bit. You're not going to hear this on you're not going to be able to visualize it on the stream with just the audio. But it looks like I'm giving the middle finger on my arm. And I lean over to the guy next to me. I go, oh, I hope they don't keep that photo for the company photo, because it kind of looked like I was giving the middle finger. And they took maybe 30 photos. I kid you not, the one photo they chose was me cross-armed with my hand giving the middle finger, which then was mailed out to the entire world. And I'll tell you, my finger must have been a pixel in an email, but somebody knew somebody looking for somebody in the photo, clicks open the email, zooms in on the Christmas tree ornament that had the photo of our company, zooms in to find the girl. And of course, the girl standing next to me is the one she was looking for. She sees my hand, calls her, tells her, who tells my boss. And then I got in huge trouble. So that was, I almost got fired for that. And, but more work related. I'll tell you something that's a little more brand related, to be honest with you. So when I worked at Star Stable, it was really about growing the brand. And this is going to be like a story about, taking a step back to understanding what industry you're in as well.
Yes.
Anybody who plays video games, it's hard to maybe always build a strong brand around a video game is good, but it's really so closely tied to the product more than many other products, because it's a time you're spending so much time with it, and you're engaging with it on so many levels. And anytime you put more effort into something else that is not the game, the people lose their damn minds. So, but in this case, we were trying to grow this image as the horse brand, horse game for girls, but we also wanted to put out a positive message to kids, and a lot of brands try to do that. They talk to teens or Gen Z and younger to try to make them feel safe in this world that with online messages, it gets confusing and aggressive. Absolutely. And people at school are rude to you. And we had an insight. And the insight that we went on was that horse girls were always made fun of. Like,
really?
Like they, oh, she's a horse girl. She, wears ugly sweaters or has her hair braided all the time. And we were finding like Urban Dictionary definitions of a horse girl and things like that. And so there was like a funny thought, like we checked with the community. We even interviewed our community. And they were saying, yeah, I've had experience. It was high percentage had experience with being bullied for being a quote unquote horse.
Wow.
So we're like, yeah, okay, this is a good position here. Let's talk to them about like, no, we're taking back we're taking it back. We're going to make a funny, high energy commercial about taking back the term horse girl, like proud to be a horse girl type of thing. And well, that blew up in our face. It turned out that we had these kids, they didn't like the term horse girl anymore, and so
why
they were like, it should have been horse person, or what about the horse boys? And then like it was just like we put so much effort into like we had like smaller versions of the commercial set up. We even did test groups with kids. We had them look at 3 different variations of commercials with 3 different messages. And then boom, 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 boom. Every single group we tested loved the horse girl spot. And
sounds like it was more a parent complaint than a kid complaint, really. But
I'll tell you,
maybe riders next time to encompass everybody. You're a rider,
It was rough, and we felt really bad about it because we came from a good place, and it was about spreading like a positive message. But that's what I would say. The lesson from here is this younger generation, right? They're super aware of things. They're very opinionated, and when they see an opinion they agree on, right, they'll attack it, and they'll attack it in full force with everybody. And
especially if they're indoctrinated by crazy parents too, because I've definitely seen a whole bunch of that.
Yeah. So
this Star Stable thing, not to interrupt you, but
no,
I'm very interested in it. I gotta ask, was there a VR component to it where there was like a horse like setup and saddle, like where you could really seem like you're riding?
No, I mean this the studio's filled with a bunch of, really good tech people. So they of course VR'd the game, and someone modded it so you could play Star Stable in VR. But no, this commercial was actually filmed in Spain. But I'll tell you, if you need to put horses in your commercial, that's when you got to open your wallet. It costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to get horses in the commercial.
I mean, if you're into the equestrian world and horseback riding, let's face it, your wallet is way open. You need like the Scrooge McDuck vault to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. But they're not paying for the commercials. We are, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, but that was probably the biggest lesson I learned around that stuff.
Some of this stuff might revolve around there's no such thing as bad publicity, but there's good lessons to be taken away from it, right? Like as cool as a focused testing group might seem with the way things are impacting them, there might still be some hidden landmines that you might encounter accidentally.
Yeah.
One thing, Justin, because like I feel like I could spend it. This is common with me and Johnny also. Like, I feel like I could spend the entire day talking to you, but I want to shift gears for a second on live events. So nothing creates more madness sometimes than live events, right? I'm working with a couple of higher profile, celebrity oriented live event production groups for my work as of late, and it's no shortage of entertainment, not only with the show, but with how things need to be organized behind the scenes. But, I've done lots of live event exhibition work, like, be for products and services that I've worked with over the years, and, being in an exhibit hall. I love the top 5 live event process that you guys have, everything from generating awareness to making money. I love that whole process. Like, again, I'm a big process guy. You surround yourself with the right people and you knock out a good process. I am continually blown away by how many people suck at executing the process of how to take away the most from a live event. And knowing the audience and getting the audience insights from there is also crucial, whether you have a table set up in an exhibit hall or you're attending as an attendee with thousands of other people. There's crazy amounts of insight that you could take away from all of it. I just wanted to get your perspective real quick on how you guys have worked with live events and how you've, gotten it from the generating awareness to monetization phase.
So, I mean, Mint Copenhagen actually started out as an event company. The guy who created the whole thing and launched it from the beginning, and he was hosting parties for the prince in Denmark. So if you want a place to throw you a party, we got your back.
I'm definitely coming to visit you, bro. It's gotta happen.
But personally, like any accounts that I've worked on so far, I mean, I've just been there for 3 or 4 months now. I haven't done anything myself. But when it comes to like the thing is, what I would alert to is doing an event at the wrong time. So we've recently, I would say, lost a pitch that we were not leading. And we were in parallel to it, and we were giving insight and offering our tools and ad tech to complement the partner. Right. And we ended up losing the pitch, and we went back and we asked why. And it was because other competitors were offering just generally safer and more reach. And we could have definitely offered that. But we went in with like this whole event and everything, but it was an event for something that didn't even exist yet. So I think the first part of that you saw was about reach, building a brand impact. You need like more brand power to get people to want to engage at your event. And when people engage at your event, they want to take photos with the step repeat. They want to post it on Instagram. They want to go into not real estate. Oh my God, what are they called? Oh my God, sweepstakes. They also want to go into real estate, but that's a different meeting. That's called
everybody's in real estate now.
I'm here to sell you my timeshare. But that's the important thing is like you have to have more of I think a brand presence too. And I think digitally speaking, there's a lesson to be learned now because the talk of the town is people want to put their brands on Roblox, for example.
Yep.
And do you guess how many games are on Roblox?
Thousands.
No, 40 million games.
Millions. I'm sorry. All I know is I see my kid playing it every 5 minutes. Dude, we got to take a break. I feel like we need an entire day to record content with what you guys are doing, and we might actually do that when I come to Sweden. But we got to take this break. We'll be right back with Justin Colavita, strategy and growth director at Mint Copenhagen. Stay with us, everybody.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Broncu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with Justin Colavita, Strategy and Growth Director at Mint Copenhagen. Justin, awesome conversation. Gotta have another one. Maybe create a whole series about what you're doing. I don't know. It's just got to be done. And not only am I appreciating your comments in the chat, I always appreciate Engineer Logan's comments in the chat as well. After you were talking about putting pictures up in the background, he said, reminds me of that old cartoon, Two Stupid Dogs. I thought that was pretty funny. So speaking of Two Stupid Dogs and branding and marketing and advertising and whatnot, my cousin Aaron put together a new logo for my show. So it's been over, while we're on the break, I'm listening to my commercial that I recorded over 3 years ago going, hey, my new show. It's like, I don't know if that's new anymore, but should probably update that. So Logan, remind me, we got to do a new commercial. But my cousin Aaron did draw an updated logo for me. So this is the one I've been using for a while. And the new one's not exactly done, but check it out. That's where I'm going.
Oh, baby.
You like it?
Yeah, it looks great.
All right, so I got a marketing and branding specialist on board. Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Justin, I love the discussion. I love what you're doing. I love how you're doing it. This is the message part of the show. There's a lot of messages that you guys have on your website, which I would urge everyone to go check out. It's mintcph.dk, as in they're based in Copenhagen, Denmark, and Justin's in Stockholm, Sweden. We're covering the world these days, people. We're maybe trying to dominate the world a little bit at some point too. But the idea of really planning ahead and going to battle with the plan sinks in really nicely with my idea of being focused on process, right? So that's a lot of the reason why I love what you're doing and how you're doing it. But I saw this too that we didn't really get into yet. I saw this on your website regarding social media, marketing and advertising. And people, I've definitely seen this out there, and I wholly appreciate it and understand it. The idea of which social media platform should I be on? And the answer is you should be on all of them. Yeah. You should figure out how people digest information on those platforms. So there's a lot to be said. And we've talked about it on the show in the past of, what you post on Facebook versus what you post on Instagram versus what you post on Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever. Like there's differences among everything. But I love the idea when we get, as we get to the message part to close out the show, the sound bites that we want to leave with everyone over the weekend. And I know you have plenty of them. Don't own the platform. Be the conversation. Dude, great. Love it. Be the conversation.
I think we got a shout.
What was it? Be the miracle from Bruce Almighty. I like that too. Be the miracle. Right? But be the conversation, right? So this is the part of the show, in my logos and everything, from Weekend Insight to Monday Impact. That's what we're all about. And I know you guys have a focus on really helping out the kid, family, youth population as well. That's been very evident in everything that you've been discussing here with us today. And I appreciate that, because I have two daughters, 11 and 8 years old, and all of this stuff is very much in my daily wheelhouse of yelling at them to shut off YouTube and TikTok. But, give us some of your pearls of wisdom that we can have everybody remember over the weekend as they're watching football and getting loaded by the fire. What can they remember on Monday that will be effective, that will give them some impact come Monday morning?
Oh man, I feel like I have big shoes to fill.
Yeah, big spicy meatball. Yeah, you guys have film crews out in the woods. You have record stores going on, horseback riding, skiers. What can you give people so that they know that they can tell their story and they can tell it well moving forward?
Yeah, I would say it needs to come back to effective marketing. And let's take back the word impression, because now, we stopped making impressions, and we started just buying them. And I think if we can just move past the instant gratification that is digital marketing today, and stop being afraid to just put the numbers, everybody wants to put the numbers up that makes the boss happy, right?
Right. Always.
Who's going to be the one who says, yeah, it's a high click-through, but what did this mean? Oh, this has high view-through rates, but when I dig into it, it's all on music videos on YouTube. Do you think people are actually watching that? And so really challenging that, the numbers that the people are sending to their bosses or the people leading the company, are those actually the things that look, shit that looks good today is not helping you tomorrow. And it's just finding the courage to just think for a second and stop just relying on all these last little data points.
Well, it's tough if your brains are made of this, but yes, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. So I think I did okay. Was that a good point of wisdom?
Dude, you're the absolute man. I love where all of this has been and where it's going, and I can't wait to talk to you about this stuff further. You guys need to get in touch with Justin. Give everybody your email address. I gave everyone the website. I know you have a million numbers because you're in Sweden, but tell people the best way to get in contact with you.
The best way to get in contact with me is remember my name, Justin Colavita. My email is jc@mintcph.dk. And can I say one thing about Mint that I would love to wrap this up with? Is that okay with you?
Please.
Okay. So, the big thing is too, we're a studio, right? We sold, I can't tell you to who, but we've sold 60 episodes of a cartoon show, and we make cartoon shows for kids. And as you know, the place is getting more fragmented. Less kids are watching TV, watching Disney and Nickelodeon, all that stuff. So what we believe in that we're fixing in this space is creating IPs. We have the guy who made Ninjago, the Lego Ninja stuff. Yep. We have some people who have worked on Family Guy working with us. We have the dude who wrote the music, who was the manager of Aqua. I'm a Barbie girl, helping us write children's songs.
Yeah, don't worry. I've heard that song in my youth and a million times in my house as of late.
And we are building the best content for kids, and we know how to grow these IPs on YouTube, and we're helping toy brands control the license and grow their license and sell toys without needing to sell off their license to places like Netflix or Nickelodeon or Paramount and stuff like that. So I think it's a good solution for toy companies and wholesalers who want to own IP and actually be in control of growing them. Mint Copenhagen is definitely, and I mean this with my whole heart, the niche perfect partner that's driven by ad tech and creative minds to get you there.
From what I've heard and seen thus far, couldn't agree more. And I've heard and seen a lot of stuff in this space from a lot of different people. Justin, thank you for pulling it together to make an appearance on my show from Stockholm, Sweden. That's probably the furthest. I know me and your brother interviewed somebody in Australia for one of the other tours that we did along the way. That's a little further. But, yo, dude, love it. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Really appreciate it and love what you're doing.
Thanks for having me here. I had a great time.
You got to tell me what the hell this picture is all about, though. At first, I thought it was an astronaut trying to drink coffee, and I realized that's probably impossible. So he's probably collecting some moon rocks.
No, that's actually a real photo of Elon Musk hanging out at our office. So,
all right, that was my second guess, actually. So I've asked every guest that I've ever had on the show the three questions that I asked you: who was your favorite movie or TV show character? What's your favorite movie or TV show? And what's your favorite musical instrument? And who's the artist you'd like to hear play it? I didn't have a chance to make all the goofy pictures that I usually make. I loved your answers, especially guitar and Tommy Emmanuel, because I love fingerstyle guitarists. So we could talk more about that. But the big questions I have for you before we leave, aside from what the hell this picture was all about, what do you miss most about home, besides the family and everything?
Dude, I know this answer, and it's so easy to answer. I miss diners. And I mean, sure, I came from New Jersey, the capital of the state or whatever, the goddamn country of diners. I'm saying this is Sweden. They have fika culture, and fika means you take a coffee break, and there's beautiful places with sandwiches by the water. It's great. But diners, dude, you can come from a wedding. You can come from a wedding in New Jersey, go to a diner. You can come from a soccer game, go to a diner. You could be on, like, you could almost be dead, or you could be going to jail. A diner, you could be in a suit, or you could be in your pajamas. You could go to a diner and you can eat anything you want. And I can't, you could probably see how emotional I am about this. Diners are amazing. If you live in America, go to a diner tonight.
I love it. What's your favorite part besides being with your lovely girlfriend and fiance, wherever you guys are at this point, whatever you're doing? What's your favorite part of living in Sweden?
My favorite part about living in Sweden, I'll be honest, the work-life balance is a lot better, even though I'm saying that now that I'm moving into owning part of a company.
Yeah, never going to be balanced ever again.
The city I work in, it's incredible. It's so much calmer, but it's still a city, and I love that I'm like in nature, because right outside the city, I take a train home, and I live like, I'm surrounded. I'm looking out my window. I'm surrounded by trees. This is obviously, if you're watching this live, this is like a drone background. But I love that I can be in nature. I can jump in the water. Like in the city, the water's fine. So I've walked down to the water in Stockholm and jumped into it after work one day. It's amazing. Just it is really nice. I love that. But if they just had a few more diners, it would be perfect.
All right, I can't bring a diner with me, but I can't wait to come visit you. It's going to be awesome. I know it. Me and Johnny will make arrangements at some point. Once again, Justin, thank you for making the virtual trip and being on the show.
Thank you.
We're coming up next week. We are going to be talking with my friend Christine Ray-Netz. She is the owner-founder of Paran Design. She's a graphic design artist. Until then, thank you for joining us on Always Friday. We hope you gained some weekend insight to make that Monday impact. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week here on talkradio.nyc at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Bye-bye, everyone. See you soon.